Hey, do you dream of making your backyard a more inviting place to spend time with family and, when you can again, friends? Ever considered a gazebo? It is a great way to provide shade on sunny days or shelter from the rain while still enjoying time outdoors. So Shai is back with tips on what to consider when looking for a gazebo. Now, Shai, first of all, please clear this up. What's the difference between a gazebo, a pavilion, and a pergola?
Right, exactly. That's one of the most asked questions I think that I get when we talk about gazebos. So a gazebo and a pavilion are actually covered, but they're completely covered. So it's a full-on roof. A pavilion would almost be like a bigger gazebo, if you can imagine that. So like the gazebo behind me, obviously you see has a full roof. The pavilion would have even a bigger footprint as well as a bigger roof. And then of course a pergola have slat roofs that can be either closely put together or widely put together to get more or less sun coming through depending on where you are.
Okay, now with a gazebo like the gorgeous one behind you, the first thing you need to consider is where is it going to go?
Of course, depending on where you live, whatever municipality that you live in, you're going to want to make sure that you can, in fact, erect the structure on your property. Of course, sizing is going to be a concern, but then you also have to think about what are you using the gazebo for? So, for example, the one behind me is going to be used for maybe work, maybe an outdoor office. It can be a little bit further away from the house, but let's say, for example, you want to put it next to your barbecue because you're going to use it as a seating area, or perhaps you want to put it somewhere where it is close to electrical because you might want to use it for, watching Cityline outside, or whatever it is that you're going to do. You want to make sure that the gazebo is positioned and works in the space, making sure that the utilitarian aspect of it is actually met when you build it.
So your next point is size actually matters, right?
Yes, I am the one who will always say size matters. So yes. But let's talk about the size of a gazebo and what do we mean by that. So, there's kind of four general sizes. The first is going to be an 8x8, and this is a little bit bigger than an 8x8, but this is kind of a standard, it's a smaller gazebo. If you live perhaps in a subdivision where your backyard is a little bit smaller, 8x8 is going to be a great one. 12x12 is kind of the universal size of gazebos for people. So 12x12 is pretty, it's a pretty good size. You're going to be able to have your family over, not a huge family dinner, but you're going to be able to have your family over and eat comfortably. Then, of course, you're going to have a 14x14. This is going to be a lot larger in terms of being able to fit perhaps a table, but as well as some additional seating. Maybe you're going to have a bar there. And then, of course, you get big, which is 18x18. You can have like a dance floor in there. Those are the kind of gazebos that you see a lot of times when you see outdoor weddings and outdoor wedding venues. You'll see those larger gazebos.
Oh, yeah. If you're a party animal, you need that big gazebo. Sounds good to me. So let's talk about materials you can use for a gazebo.
So behind me, you see the gazebo that's here is a wood gazebo. This is probably the most popular. This is the easiest to build. If you're DIY, great. They're great. They're cost effective. The thing about a wood gazebo is you're going to need to maintain them. Now, the maintenance isn't crazy, but it is something that you're going to need to do unless you're using like a pressure treated lumber, and it might be a little bit easier to care for. The other thing to think about a wood gazebo is the roof, of course, itself. So whatever the structure is going to be, oftentimes the roof is similar. So that's another thing to care for. In terms of vinyl gazebos, these are super popular now. So you can go to the big box stores, you get those vinyl gazebos. They're almost kind of like pop-up. They're great. They're maintenance friendly. They're easy to care for. They're super easy to put together. So that's something to think about if you're like me and are horrible when it comes to DIY. A vinyl might be the one that you want to look at. And then, of course, fabric gazebos. You take it down, they're washable, and then finally, if you do move, it can come with you, which is also great.
Ooh, I like that. You want to take the dream with you. Thank you, Shai. That gazebo looks like a backyard dream.